Welcome back. In my earlier videos, we already discussed about various control methods used in plant disease management like cultural methods, physical methods, and chemical methods. Today I'll be talking about the various biological methods or biocontrol methods used in plant disease management. So this biological method or the biocontrol method is a method controlling pests such as mites, invasive weeds, insects, and other plant diseases by using organisms. So this depends on predation, parasitism, herbivory, and other natural mechanisms, but the role of human involvement is very much significant in order to effectively execute this practice biological methods. Biological control of plant diseases is the suppression of populations of plant pathogens by living organisms, and such living organisms used as biocontrol agents include Chaetomium, Glycladium, Trichoderma viridae, Trichoderma hertzianum, Bacillus cereus, Bacillus subtilis, and Pseudomonas fluorescens. So these BCA are highly specific, these are eco-friendly and cost-effective. With very much time and money, these can be uh, used as a effective biocontrol agents. So again, use of antagonist for disease control, this offers an alternative to the use of pesticides, where in the use of chemical pesticides there is a toxicity produced, but such toxicity is not produced in by this biocontrol agents. As already told, biological control is a non-chemical and natural alternative for the other control measures for management of plant diseases. So as per the definition given by Debach in 1964, the action of parasites, predators, and pathogens in maintaining another organism's population density at a lower average than would occur in their absence is called as biological control. So this is a natural biological control which has spontaneous activity of many native antagonistic organisms are seen. So applied biological control can be understood in three phases or three different phenomena or the procedures. The first one is inoculative, that is the classical one. This is having the long-term activity. Here, important release of exotic natural enemies against exotic or local pests is practiced. Second is augmentative. So this is a short-term activity. It has limited persistence. So here, mass raiding and release of natural enemies which are already present in particular environment or are easily available. So are usually considered as in this augmentative type. Conservative or conservation of existing population of native and natural enemies by modification of their environment is usually taken care or considered in this type of applied biological control method. As I already told, biological control is a non-chemical and natural environment. Yes, of course, it has a high efficacy and a high efficacy of many biocontrol agents and products in some types of agricultural crops have already been reported, and these have given the high level of consumer and environmental safety, and some of the pests don't develop the resistance against these biocontrol agents, and there is a still active search for the pest organism in agricultural environments going on, and there is a possible long-term beneficial activity exhibited by this biocontrol agents, and there are numerous examples of great potential of native plant pests and pathogens enemies naturally present in agriculture environment already been reported, and these are the advantages of using this biological control methods, biological controls. This is a photograph showing various biocontrol agents. Don't bother about the name. Just this is to show you how these are, yes, obviously used to kill these pests. So this pest insect is used to kill this pest, and this is killing this one. Such as etc. So this photograph shows you the parasitic organisms. These are parasitoids which lives in the pests and they will ultimately kill them. Of the microorganisms used as a biocontrol agents, filamentous fungi play a significant role as a BCAs. The examples for this filamentous fungi are Trichoderma hertzianum, Tassolomyces lilacinus, Beauveria bassiana, Metahizium anophyllae, Coniotherium minitans, Vorticillum lecanii, Amicoccum nigrum, Clonostasis rosea, and even Trichoderma viride is one of the promising filamentous fungi used as a biocontrol. Hardman in 1991 has proposed that biocontrol agent should have three crucial components. That is, a biocontrol should be a highly effective one, and it should produce a high level of effective and viable propagules, and biocontrol agents delivery systems should be conducive to the bioprotectant that provide a competitive advantage to the biocontrol agent relative to the other microflora. So these are the three crucial components of biocontrol methods. Yes, an ideal microbial antagonist should have several characteristic traits such as that BCA or microbial antagonist must be compatible with commercial processing practices. It should not be detrimental to the quality of the fruits and vegetables, and it should be effective against wide spectrum of commodities and pathogens under different conditions. It should be effective against different pathogens under different environmental conditions, and it should be effective at even low concentrations. It must not be demanding in terms of required nutrients, and it must be resistant to chemical used in the post-harvest environment. So the chemicals which are used in the post-harvest environment should not affect the activity of this potential antagonist, and it must be able to survive under adverse environmental conditions, and always should be stable without undergoing any sort of morphological or physiological changes. It should be easy to dispense without being hazardous to the human health, and should be amendable to formulations with a long shelf life. Finally, it must be environmentally friendly. So all these characters make a microbial antagonist ideal one. So let us quickly go through the methods of disease management by biocontrol agents. Which are those methods followed, and which are those biocontrol agents, and what are the procedures involved in this management by biocontrol agents? Quickly, let us have a look. The first step in method of using this biocontrol agents is isolation and identification at the laboratory level. The fungi or the organisms can be isolated from the soil. Those are called rhizosphere fungi, or even they can be isolated from the infected leaf. Those are called phyloplain fungi. So to isolate the rhizosphere fungi, 1 gram of the soil will be serially diluted, of which dilution 1 ml of the dilution will be transferred onto the petri plates. To these petri plates, PDM media is poured, and these plates are incubated at 25 degrees centigrade for 7 to 10 days. So at the end of 10th day, the fungi grown on these plates will be observed under compound and stereo microscope, and finally identified by following the standard procedures. So in case of isolation of phyloplain fungi, infected leaves are cut, they are washed with distilled water, they are dried into papers, they are kept one below the other in the filter paper, and after 1 or 2 days, these leaves are inoculated on the culture media and incubated for 5 to 10 days, or even 7 to 10 days. Finally, these are also observed under microscope and identified. After isolation and identification of the antagonistic microorganisms, they have to screen for the effective antagonist properties. To do this, there are two methods: dual culture method and ring plate method. In dual culture method, the pretty plates will be poured with the PDM media, and after the next day, at one end, the target microorganism is placed, and at the other end, after 2 days of this incubation, the antagonist organism is piece of that culture is cut and placed at the another end of the pretty plate. So this is incubated at room temperature for 1 week. So after 1 week, you can see here, if that organism is able to kill or it is having the antagonist property, then it will not allow this organism to grow. So this is the target organism and this is the antagonist organism. So this antagonist organism, it has not allowed this pathogen to grow. So this clear zone in this pretty plate shows there is no growth, or it has completely avoided the growth of this target pathogen in this pretty plate. And this first one is control without antagonist organism. So you can see there is a full growth of this target pathogen in this complete pretty plate because there is no use of this antagonist organisms. So this is dual culture method. Second method is a ring plate method. So here initially bacterial inoculum will be taken in a glass tube by touching the tube on the surface of the bacterial culture. You need to touch the tube on the surface of the bacterial culture. Next, this glass tube with the bacterial inoculum will be spotted on MEA media. Glass tube will be spotted on the MEA media. Third is, this forms the inoculum ring of 5 cm diameter on culture plate. So you can see here, so these are all the glass tube bacterial inoculum. So these have created the inoculum ring of 5 cm diameter in the culture plate. So after 3 days of incubation at room temperature, the pathogen was inoculated exactly at the center of the circular bacterial ring. So this is the glass tube with the bacterial inoculum spotted on the culture tube, and exactly after 2 days this was allowed for incubation at room temperature for 2 days, and after 2 or 3 days exactly at the center of this circular bacterial ring the pathogen was inoculated. So here the bacteria is the antagonist, and here the pathogen will be inoculated at the center of the circular ring. What happens? You can see there is a zone. Which is seen around this antagonist. If you are inoculated, this is a control one. This is treated one. So here you have inoculated the antagonist microorganism. After 2 days or 1 day, you can see the clear zone surrounding this. So this zone indicates that it has not allowed the bacteria to grow in this culture media. So this is treated one and this is controlled one. This is without antagonist microorganism. This is with antagonist microorganism. So this is second method of screening of antagonist microorganisms for their antagonist property. So we have isolated, identified and also screened for the potential antagonist microorganism. Next step is mass production and development of different formulations of biocontrol agents. The first step is, so this is mass production. We can go for preparation of wheat bran based formulations. So there are several formulations for which substrates are used. So in this example I'll be using to make you understand, we are preparing wheat bran based formulations. So first step in this preparation of formulation is carrier of 1 kg wheat bran will be mixed with 10 gram of carboxymethyl cellulose CMC and pH adjusted to 6 to 6.5 by adding calcium carbonate, and the carrier cellulose mixture will be autoclaved at 1.1 kg per cm cube for half an hour on each of 2 consecutive days. So in the first step, what happens? 1 kg of wheat bran was mixed with 10 gram of CMC and pH was adjusted to 6 to 6.5 by adding CSVO3, and the mixture of this carrier cellulose mixture will be autoclaved at 1.1 kg per cm cube for half an hour on each consecutive days. After autoclaving, second is this here we are, for example, if we are taking Trichoderma species. So Trichoderma species suspension of 500 ml on PDA broth with standardized self-forming unit count 10 to the power of 7 per gram will be added to 1 kg of the carrier mixed well under sterile conditions. So what happens? 10 to the power of 7 per unit CFU per gram of this Trichoderma suspension cells will be added to this carrier cellulose mixture under sterile conditions. So after addition, the carrier formulation was air dried and incubated at room temperature for 2 weeks. Finally, at the end of 15th day or at the end of 2nd week, the efficacy of biocontrol agents is checked in vitro and by in vivo tests. So this is the wheat bran. So this is a photograph showing you the production of trichocads, which I have been referred by the website of National Institute of Plant Health and Management, Andhra Pradesh. So here these are the antagonistic eggs which are now being mass multiplied. So these eggs are mixed with sorghum, 2.5 kg sorghum. So this is kept for incubation in the racks under controlled temperature conditions, and there is a emergence of moth starts from 40 days of incubation. Once the moth starts to produce, so these moths are transferred into the ovipositional cage. So this is a cage. Then these eggs are collected from oviposition cage, and these are spreading of the eggs on the card. So this is a card and these eggs are spread over here. These are UV sterilized, and finally there is a transfer of trichogramma adults for parasitization. So what are the methods of application? Now we have prepared the antagonistic mass production has been done, and methods of application of biocontrol agents, how you will apply these biocontrol agents on the crop plants, or how you will introduce into the soil, or different methods of applications of biocontrol agents. So microbial biocontrol agents, these interact with plants by inducing resistance or priming plants without any direct interaction with the targeted pathogen, or otherwise MBCAs act via nutrient competition and other mechanisms modulating the growth conditions for the pathogen. Either they interact directly by inducing resistance or priming plants without having direct interaction with the targeted pathogen, or they may act via nutrient competition. They may compete for the nutrients with the pathogens, or by other mechanisms which modulates the growth conditions for the pathogens. Another aspect of plant disease management in the biocontrol by using this biocontrol agents is seed treatment, using the antagonistic microorganisms in order to treat the seed. So there are three major procedures used in this seed treatment. One is seed dressing, second is seed coating, and third is seed pelleting. So any one of the procedures could be followed for seed treatment. So seed dressing is one of the most common seed treatment method. Here the seed is dressed with either dry formulation or wet treated with a slurry or liquid formulations. Here either low cost earthen pots can be used for mixing the uh, antagonism with the seed, or the seed can be spread on polythene sheets and the required quantity of antagonist microorganism powder can be sprinkled on the seed lot and mixed mechanically. This is a simple example to show you how the seed dressed with biocontrol agents can be used to assess their effectiveness or to control the juveniles which are acting here as the pathogens. So here seed crops coated with 48 hours old cultures of biocontrol agents were sown in 8 cm diameter plastic pots, each pot containing 300 gram of soil, and these pots were kept for incubation for 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks of plant growth, the plants were inoculated with 2000 freshly hatched second stage juveniles by introducing holes around each plant. So the holes were made around each individual plants through which these eggs were introduced, and the control acted as the pots without microbial antagonists. After 60 days of growth, the plants were uprooted and the number of root nodes were determined. So this table gives you the information of several antagonists used for the seed treatment of this particular crops in order to control these pests or diseases. One or two examples quickly to tell here is to control the root rot or wilts of sugarcane. Trichoderma species 4 to 6 gram per kg seed is used. Seed is treated to the seed, and to control the root rot disease, Trichoderma species 5 to 10 gram per kg seed before transplantation is applied. And for the seed rice, Pseudomonas fluorescens 0.5%, that is 10 gram per kg is used to control the disease bacterial sheath blight. And for the seeds of this chili, Trichoderma viride 4 kg per kg and carbendazim 1 gram per 100 gram seeds are applied, and to avoid anthracnose species, that is damping of disease, and to control soil-borne infection of fungal diseases in chilies. The seeds of chilies are treated with Trichoderma viride 2 gram per kg seed and Pseudomonas fluorescens 10 gram per kg and Captain 1.5 to 2.5 gram per liter of soil drenching is done here. So this is just an example to show you these are many antagonists, biocontrol agents used to control these diseases of these particular crops. There are several applications of seed treatment. The seed treatment protects germinating seeds and seedlings against soil and seed-borne pathogen or insects. So seed germination is enhanced. There is early and uniform establishment and growth of the seeds or seedlings. This seed treatment enhances the nodulation in legume crops. This is better than soil and foliar application methods, and there is a uniform crop stand even in adverse conditions. Second procedure of seed treatment is seed coating. In seed coating, there is a special binder used with the formulation to enhance adherence to the seed, and coating requires advanced treatment technology by the industries. So in this photograph you can see the fenugreek seeds are coated with PGPR, that is plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, and this coriander seeds are coated with again PGPR, plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, and the uncoated seeds of cumin after 1 year you can see here, and the coated seeds of after 1 year. So you feel the difference here. Without the seed coating, what is the condition of the cumin seeds here, and with seed coating, what is the status or the condition of this cumin seeds after 1 year. So that means seed coating is one of the effective measure of seed treatment. So in this, see, there are several ingredients required for the coating of the seed. That is, protectants are required, nutrients, symbionts, soil adjuvants, phytoactive promoters, and colors and traitors if required. They can also be used. So two major ingredients, that is binder and liquid, and fillers and powders should be kept ready. So the seed can be coated either by fluidized bed or by rotary coater or by rotating pan. So so this equipment is a fluidized bed wherein seeds are already added along with the protectants, and at the bottom of the equipment there will be airflow. Along with that, binder liquid or a slurry is added. So through this pressure of the air, the slurry is released in this chamber, and that coats the seeds. So another equipment is rotary coater. So through this rotary coater also seed coating can be done here. So here the seeds are added along with the filler powders, and through this nozzle or the tube, slurry or binder liquid is added, and the instrument is allowed to spin or run. So as it spins, the binder or liquid releases into this container and the seeds are coated. Another equipment is rotating pan. So this rotating pan acts, here you can see the nozzle, it acts as a nozzle or the sprayer. These are the seeds along with the fillers or the powders, and through this tube binder liquid are added. Finally, and through this fillers are added, and this acts as a nozzle spray. Through this the slurry is sprayed, and in this way the seeds are coated. And these are different types of coat types. So this is pelleting type of coat, and this is encrusting type of coat, and this appears like a film coating. So through this rotating pan method, all the three type of coat type can be done. Pelleting coat type, encrusting coat type, and film coating type can be done by rotating pan, and through this rotary coater, film coating and pelleting coating can be done. All the three methods also can be done. Through this fluidized bed seed coating mechanism, only film coating and encrusting type of coat type can be done. Seed pelleting is the third procedure in seed treatment. So in this process, the seeds are covered with external materials such as talc and the clay by the binding agents, glue. So this process allows the seeds to uniformly increase in size and weight, and making them more homogeneous and easier to mix and sow. And moreover, this coating can be loaded with active ingredients that improve the protection from insect and fungal attack or promote germination and seedling growth. In this first row of the photograph, you can see this is a tomato seed before seed pelleting. So after pelleting, this appears like this, like it has the seed has been coated or the pelleted with talc or the clay by using this glue, and again it increases in size. And along with this, some other active ingredients can also be added, which protects the seed from the insect and fungal attack in order to promote the germination and also the seedling growth. So through this picture we can understand the mode of action of BT gene. BT is Bacillus thuringiensis gene. So this BT toxin crystal, if ingested by this pest, this BT crystal solubilizes and it gets activated after some time. So after activation, it reaches to the midgut cells of the insect. There it binds to the receptor, and finally this binded toxin become monomers. These enter into the force which leads to the osmotic cell lysis, and the larvae faces septicemia. Septicemia is a condition where it is referred to as a blood poisoning. Finally, the larvae is died. This is another example to show you the mode of mechanism of this fungal biocontrol agent, fungi, how it kills the larvae. Initially, the conidium of this fungi, they attach to the outermost surface of this larvae. Gradually, they germinate and they penetrate through the cuticle and epidermal layer of this larvae, and later on, due to the propagation of hyphal bodies within the hemolymph, this larvae comes to death. Yeah, we have come to the end of today's presentation. I have tried to cover almost all the significant aspects in biological control methods. See you in the next video lesson. Till then, please like, subscribe and press the bell button in order to get the notification of my new upcoming videos. And hope all the teachers and the students of life sciences have enjoyed this presentation. See you next time. Till then, take care.